What's up, researchers? The Guru here, back with another SPSS video. This time the Guru will be showing you how to create an SPSS data file. An SPSS data file is the file that you will be using to capture your data from your questionnaires. If you're a first-time visitor to my channel, I would like to welcome you and encourage you to click the subscription button and the bell icon so that you won't miss any more content coming up in the near future. Remember to like, comment, and share this content with your friends. Okay, let's get to it. So the tools that I'll be using today is SPSS, which I've opened already on my screen, and then Microsoft Word, and then Excel. In Microsoft Word, I have already a sample questionnaire that I'll be using, which is collecting the gender of the participant, the age, the weight, the height, and then the level of satisfaction with your weight. So the questionnaire is going to ask if the participant is satisfied with their weight, and if they are satisfied, they will choose options. If they are not, they will choose options. So they're strongly dissatisfied, dissatisfied, neutral, satisfied, and strongly satisfied. Okay, so they'll be choosing these options. So these are the variables that I want to create in my SPSS to prepare my data file for data capturing. Okay, and then in my Excel, I've got two rows that I've created here that are just trying to show the kind of data that will be in each and every variable as we capture the data, right? So gender will be having either male or female. Age, someone will be specifying their actual age in years, so 28, 35, 45, 22, whatever. And then their weight, okay, and then which is in kgs, and then their height, which is in meters in this case, and then their level of satisfaction, either strongly dissatisfied, satisfied, neutral, or dissatisfied, whatever option that they prefer. Okay, so this data is the one that we'll be working with, and then we'll be capturing these variables in the questionnaire, in SPSS. Okay, so let's get to it. So when I get to my my SPSS, I'm requested to open an existing file or to create a new one. So I'm just gonna create a new one. So what I'll do is I'll click cancel, or I'll type in data. So I'll click type in data and then click OK. Okay, it will launch my SPSS and then open in variable view. All right, so in variable view, this is where you want to create your variables, and then in data view, this is where you want to insert your variables. I have got an introductory video that I've done for SPSS. You can check on the sliding bar at the top. It will take you to the video, and then you have an overview of how SPSS is like. Okay, so today we are just going to focus on the variable view. So here, like I said, this is where you create variables. What do we mean by variables? Variables are each independent question that is in your questionnaire. So like in this case, we are requesting gender, so gender becomes the variable. Here we're requesting age becomes the variable. Here we're requesting weight becomes the variable, and here we're requesting height becomes the variable. And then in this case, we are referring to level of satisfaction, so level of satisfaction becomes your variable. Okay, so these are the variables that we want to create in our SPSS. So we're going to start with gender. All right, so here we are expected to give a variable a name. All right, there's something that you need to take note when you're giving variable a name. You can't put spaces between two words, right? You can only use a single word, and if there are two words, you can join them using an underscore. So you can't have a space between two words, it will give you an error. So maybe let me say gender of participant. You see that it will give me an error here to say that you can't use a variable name contains an illegal character, and that illegal character is a space. So you can't have a space between variables. But if you join them, I'm going to do that with the level of satisfaction. If you join them with an underscore, you'll be fine. So our first variable is gender, right? And looking at our data, gender takes male or female, right? You can work with male or female, or you can replace male with M, female with F, right? Or you can say males, I want to give them a value 1, and then females, I want to give them a value 2. So it will be up to you. So just be sure of how you're going to code them, and then you then decide on how you're going to name them here. Okay, so if I'm not going to code them using one or two, in other words, I'm going to use M and F, or male or female in full, right? If it's male and female in full, what it means is that is text. Okay, so if I click on that ellipse button, I'll be given an option to select data types that I want to work with. Okay, so numerically we're talking about numbers, okay, from 0 to 10. Okay, I mean any number. It can be 100, it can be 1,000, any number. All right, but then if you're going to work with the females or males, or you're going to work with the F or M, then that's text or string. Okay, so you have to click on that option, string. Okay, and then it gives an option to say how many strings do you want to accommodate. So if you check females is what, how many? 2, 4, 6. Okay, which means 6 will accommodate, so we'll put 6 there. But even if you leave it as 8, it doesn't matter, but you can still put 6 and then it'll be fine. If you put 5, what it means is it's gonna truncate or remove some other characters so that it can only accommodate 5. So you want to avoid that and make sure that you are accommodating all the characters in your variable. Okay, so we're going to work with 6, right? And then this width changes automatically. Okay, initially it was an 8, but now because we specified 6 when you selected string, it makes this 6. So you can always change this and say, I want it to be 5, or you can say I'm at 8, I want it to be 5, or you can say I want it to be 3. It will be up to you. Okay, if you're using M and F, you can make it 1. Okay, but in this case I'll be using the whole name in full, which is female or male, so I'll use 6. Okay, and then because it's string, it doesn't have decimal places, so we're not going to give decimal places. But if it was a number, we're going to be expected to give decimal places. Okay, and then the next thing is you've got a label. A label then allows you to give a full description. This one does not matter even if you put spaces. You type it like you're typing a composition. Okay, the idea is you want to always remember what that variable is. Okay, if you do the actual coding, you realize that maybe you might not even name the variable gender as gender in full, right? You might just name it as G. So next year when you come and open this file, you won't even know what G stands for, but the label here reminds you by that description that you have put there to say that this variable stands for gender. Okay, so we're gonna say that this variable is for gender of the participant. Okay, participant. All right, and then you're going to say that you wanna put values now. Remember, when people are choosing options, right? They either tick that box or they tick this box, and then the values that will be coming in will be like that. Okay, so those are the values that SPSS is expecting you to type. So you are saying male stands for male. Okay, female stands for female. Right, this will make sense. Okay, I forgot to edit. So okay, so click OK, and then we're good. Right, so it adds those values here. If you click that ellipse button, you always get them. So you are saying whenever you see a female, right, in the data, treat it as female. Whenever you see male, treat it as male. Okay, the reason why we have these things is in the case that maybe you are changing female to F, right, male to M. You want to say that whenever I see female, show me as an F. Whenever I see male, show me as an M. Okay, I'm going to talk about this a bit later when I talk about the level of satisfaction, so that it will make sense. But for now, I'm going to leave it like this. Okay, and then you have got an option to specify what do you want to call missing data. Missing data means that when the participant was filling in the data, the questionnaire, they decided not to tick gender. They didn't want to specify their gender. Okay, they didn't want to say they are male or female. So that data is treated as missing. Okay, so SPSS is asking you, when there is nothing specified by the participant, how do you want to treat it? Okay, that's when you have to specify how you are going to treat it. So you have got an option of saying no missing values, or discrete missing values, or range of missing values. Okay, but then usually any data that is missing, in my experience, I remove it from my analysis. Why? Because it will distort my values. So any data that is missing, I remove it. And that process of removing missing data, we call it data cleansing. Okay, you are cleaning your data so that you are left with the data that is perfect. So any data that is missing, you remove it completely. Okay, so I leave it like that usually. Okay, and then this one specifies about the columns, and do you want to align your data to the left, to the right, or to the center, right? That this affects when you come to data view, that the data that is entered, right, is it aligned to the left or to the right or to the center? Well, it's all about preferences, but you are not forced to change this. So even if you leave it as left, it's still fine. But keep in mind that left is default for string, and then if you put numbers, the default is right. Okay, right, and then you've got a measure. Under measure, you've got two options in this case, right? But under normal circumstances, these options will be 3. Okay, so in this case, because it's string, you get 2 options, which are ordinal or nominal, right? This takes me to another part where I'm then going to distinguish between nominal and ordinal. Okay, for a variable to be treated as nominal, it means that this variable has no intrinsic ranking. Okay, in other words, you can't distinguish between the options given, which one is higher, which one is lower. Okay, which one is top, which one is bottom. You can't distinguish between the options given. So when that is the case, then that data we call it nominal. Okay, that data we call it nominal. Right. For example, who is the greatest, males or females? None. You can't deduce that. Okay, so such kind of a variable is then referred to as nominal. Okay, which department do you work in? Finance, IT, production, right? Which department is higher than the other? You can't tell, right? So such kind of variables, they are then referred to as what? As nominal. Okay, so in this case, gender is going to be nominal. All right, and then let me just define ordinal. Right. An ordinal variable is some kind of variable that has got intrinsic ranking, right? So if you can rank a variable as either high or low, medium, whatever, right? It means that variable is ordinal, right? Like for example, the one that we have already in our questionnaire, the level of satisfaction, right? You have got strongly dissatisfied, strongly satisfied, satisfied, neutral. These are the levels. You can even say satisfied is higher, dissatisfied is lower. Okay, so you can rank them. That makes this kind of a variable an ordinal. So that's the difference between ordinal and nominal. Nominal, you can't rank them, right? Males and females. Ordinal, you can rank them. Strongly agree, strongly disagree. Satisfied, neutral, highly satisfied, such kind of variables. Okay, so we're going to choose nominal for gender, and then we go on to the next variable. Our next variable is age. Okay, age, right? We are asking the participant to specify their age, either 38, 45, 42, 43, 17, etc, etc, and that's a number. So we say age as our variable, and then our data numeric. Okay, that's the only one that makes sense. Okay, numeric, and then we are saying the width of the numeric is 8, but we can even make it 2. Why? Because it's rare that we're going to have participants that are above 100 years old. Okay, so the maximum should be 2, but even if you leave it as like 8, like I said, it's not harm. Okay, and then you're gonna have a decimal place of 2 by default, right? Age does not have decimal places, so you might always need what? To remove it. But if you put it, there's no harm, but you need to remove it because age does not have decimal places. Okay, and then you are saying this variable, you can copy that, and then paste in here. And then I'm gonna expand this and say this variable is for age of the participant. Okay, and I can always reduce the size. All right, and then we are saying what are the values that are going to come in there? We are not going to grade them, so we'll leave them like that. Okay, nothing that we're going to do to this, so we'll leave it like that. All right, missing values none. Columns 8, you can leave it like that. Now because it's numeric, by default it comes to the right, but you can always change it and say I want everything to be on the left or to the center. Okay, and then here the option that we have was unknown, but now we see we have got 3 options now: scale, ordinal, and nominal. Right, definitely we are going to choose scale, and let me define why we are choosing scale. So a variable can be treated as scale when its values represent ordered categories, okay, with a meaningful metric. Like for example, you can order age, like the youngest and the oldest, in ascending order or in descending order. You can order height, you can order weight, such kind of things. That's why they are called scales. Okay, that's why they are called scales. Right. So age is going to be a scale, and then our next variable is weight, and then the next one will be height. So we're going to have weight, right? It's numeric, and then usually it's going to be 3. 2. There are some people who are like overweight, maybe 120 or so. I'm going to copy that again and then paste in there, and then call it weight, right? And then again scale, and then we're going to do the same height, right? Numeric, paste there, and then because I have it in memory, and then call it height there, and then we make it scale, and then we move on to the last one, which is the level of satisfaction. Right, so with this one now, check how the name is going to be. You can call it satisfaction level, you can call it like this, or you can call it level with an underscore, right? Or you can even call it SL. Okay, I usually use small ones. Why? Because I'm going to define what that variable is all about in the label. Okay, so SL, right? And then by default it's picking numeric. Okay, right, now this is where I need to talk about something. So the participant is going to tick a box. Yeah, so if they choose that box, what they're basically saying is they're strongly dissatisfied with their weight. Okay, if they tick that box, they are dissatisfied. Okay, and so on and so on and so on. So you have an option to specify these options: strongly dissatisfied or dissatisfied, neutral, as they are, just like you did with males and females. You specified them as they are. Okay, but you also have an option to say, whenever a person ticks this box, I want to assign the value 1. Whenever a person ticks this box, I want to assign a value 2, value 3 for neutral, a value 4 for dissatisfied, a value 5 for strongly satisfied. Okay, and when you do this, you then need to choose what? Numeric. But if you are using satisfied and dissatisfied as they are in the questionnaire, then you need to use string. My recommendation is use numeric. In other words, change these options to numbers. And this process of changing these options to numbers, we call it coding. That's what is called coding in SPSS. Okay, right, so we are going to paste in there and then say level of satisfaction. Right, remember the reason why we give a label description is because we do not know what SL is. if you give this file to anyone, they won't know what SL is. But if they read the label, they'll be able to tell that this is the level of satisfaction. So S for satisfaction, L for label. Okay, and then you go under values. This is where you then define to say, I want to convert or to code my options to values. So we are saying value 1 stands for what? Stands for strongly dissatisfied. Okay, and then you put strongly dissatisfied as a label, you add, right? Now option number 2, dissatisfied, you add. Option number 3, neutral. Okay, you add. Option number 4, satisfied, you add. Option number 5, strongly satisfied, you add. Now we now have all the 5 options. Make sure that the spellings are correct here. Okay, we now have these 5 options, and then you click OK. Right, this is the coding that we always refer to whenever we're talking about SPSS coding. Okay, converting the options that are in your questionnaire to numbers. We can even do the same here. We can even say female is 1, male is 2, or the other way around. Okay, that's the coding, right? And then we choose scale. Also, so we choose ordinal, right? Because you can specify these as highest, lowest. Okay, you can rank them basically. Okay, so we're gonna take ordinal. So when you did this, you have your variables ready. Then you can go to data view and start entering your data. You can now see that my headings have now changed from VAR, which stands for variable, to gender, age, weight, height, SL. Okay, these are the 5 variables that I've created. All right, I think I'll end here. The next video will be then showing you how to capture your data into the SPSS in data view here. Okay, thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video. If you have not already subscribed, please click on that red button and convert it to a gray one, and then remember to click on the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload new content. And then remember to like, comment, and share, and tell me what you think about this video. Okay, see you in the next one, and thank you for tuning in.